Right now, your body is running a system so complex, so precise, that no machine on Earth comes close to matching it. Your heart beats without being asked. Your lungs pull oxygen from thin air. Your brain processes thousands of signals every second, and across your entire body, 37 trillion cells, each one is doing its job. Most people never think about this, because it works. But here's what's strange. The real mystery isn't that people get cancer. The real mystery is that most people don't. Think about what has to happen every single day just to keep you alive. Cells divide, cells age, cells get damaged, cells are replaced again and again for decades across trillions of cells, and yet the system holds. Most mistakes get corrected, most damaged cells vanish, most threats never become anything at all. So if the body is this good at protecting itself, how does a single cell sometimes escape? How does one microscopic mistake eventually threaten an entire human life? To answer that, we have to uncover a hidden war that has been happening inside you since the very beginning. Most people think cancer begins the moment a tumor is found, but that's not where the story starts. That's just where it becomes visible. The real story started long before that. Your body is dealing with damaged cells right now. Today, sunlight can damage DNA. Certain chemicals can damage DNA. Random copying errors can damage DNA. Simply being alive creates opportunities for things to go wrong. But evolution knew this was coming, which is why your body built not one, but multiple layers of defense. Imagine a city with trillions of workers. If one worker starts making dangerous decisions, something has to stop them before it spreads. Your body has exactly that. The first layer, repair. Inside your cells, molecular repair crews constantly scan for damaged DNA. When they find a mistake, they fix it. Quietly, relentlessly, without you ever knowing. Most of the time, the threat ends right there. The damage is fixed. The cell returns to normal. The story is over before it begins. But sometimes, the mistake survives, and when it does, the second defense steps in. Here's something most people never consider. Healthy cells know when to stop. They are not meant to last forever, and they know it. A healthy cell follows its instructions. It grows when needed, divides when needed, and when its job is done, it dies. This process has a name: apoptosis, programmed cell death. Sounds dramatic. The idea is actually simple. If a cell becomes too damaged to trust, it removes itself. It sacrifices itself to protect everything around it. Every single day, countless cells make that choice. Not because they're weak, because the survival of the whole body matters more than the survival of any one cell. Now here's where it gets dangerous. A damaged cell has to learn how to ignore that signal. The signal that says, it's time to go. Once it does, the rules start to change. A dangerous cell has survived, but surviving alone isn't enough, because there's one more defense waiting. And this one is actively hunting. Most people know the immune system fights viruses and bacteria, but that's only part of what it does. Your immune system is also a surveillance network, a patrol force that never stops moving. Immune cells travel through your tissues, scanning for anything suspicious, anything abnormal, anything that doesn't belong. When a cell starts behaving strangely, immune cells detect the warning signals and destroy it, which means for cancer to survive, it has to clear 3 separate walls. First, survive DNA damage. Second, ignore the order to die. Third, slip past immune detection. 3 defenses, 3 chances to fail. 3 reasons cancer should almost never happen, and yet it does. Here's the part most people never hear. Scientists believe abnormal cells may arise in the body far more often than most people realize. The reason you're alive right now, the reason most people never know, is because the body usually wins. Usually, but not always. which means something extraordinary may be happening inside you right now. At this very moment, your body may be destroying damaged cells you will never know existed. Silent battles, invisible victories, happening every day of your life. Because cancer doesn't win through strength, it wins through adaptation. Cancer is usually described as uncontrolled growth. That's true. But it misses the most important part of the story. Cancer isn't simply growing. Cancer is escaping. A dangerous cell accumulates changes over time. One change, then another, then another. Each one gives it a small advantage. Maybe it divides faster. Maybe it ignores warning signals. Maybe it becomes harder to recognize. Maybe it survives conditions that would kill any ordinary cell. Slowly, it begins operating under a completely different set of rules, and eventually it becomes something new. A cell that no longer serves the body, a cell that serves only itself. This is why cancer can be thought of as the perfect criminal. Not because it thinks, not because it plans, but because it survives by slipping past every system designed to stop it. The body looks for obvious threats. Cancer learns not to look obvious. The body maintains order. Cancer thrives in disorder. The body protects the whole. Cancer protects only itself. And as long as it stays hidden, it gains something incredibly dangerous. Time. Time to grow. Time to adapt. Time to become harder to stop. This is where the story gets truly unsettling. Most people picture cancer fighting against the body. The reality is stranger than that. Cancer often survives by using the body itself. Cancer cells need oxygen, they need nutrients, they need energy. And instead of finding these things on their own, they manipulate the environment around them. One of the most disturbing examples is something called angiogenesis, the growth of new blood vessels. Some tumors release chemical signals that trick the body into building entirely new supply routes. New blood vessels begin growing toward the tumor, carrying oxygen, carrying nutrients, carrying everything it needs to keep expanding. Think about what that means. The body is unknowingly building infrastructure for the very thing trying to destroy it. The tumor isn't just surviving anymore, it's constructing, expanding, laying down a supply chain for its own future, like a hidden city quietly building roads and pipelines beneath the surface. And some tumors are not dangerous because of where they start. They're dangerous because of where they decide to go next. When most people imagine cancer, they picture one tumor, one location, one problem. But one of the most dangerous events in cancer is something called metastasis. This is the moment cancer stops being local and starts becoming systemic. Individual cancer cells break away from the original tumor. They enter blood vessels or lymphatic channels, and they begin traveling through the body. Most never survive. The bloodstream is hostile. The immune system is still hunting. The odds are stacked against them. But occasionally, one makes it, just one, and that can be enough. The cell reaches a new organ, the lungs, the liver, the bones, the brain. It settles in, it survives, it starts growing again, a new colony, a new foothold, a new threat. What began as a single abnormal cell can now affect multiple organs at once. The scale of the battle changes completely. And now we reach the final question. Why can this become fatal? Cancer rarely kills through one dramatic event. It kills through disruption. The human body runs on cooperation. The lungs deliver oxygen. The heart moves blood. The liver processes chemicals. The brain coordinates everything else. Every system depends on every other system. Cancer breaks that cooperation. It damages tissue, consumes resources, blocks pathways, disrupts signals, and over time, the burden builds. Critical functions begin to fail. Not because an outside invader conquered the body, but because some of the body's own cells stopped following the rules that made life possible in the first place. At the beginning of this story, we asked a simple question. How can one cell threaten an entire human body? The answer is not that cancer is stronger than the body. In many ways, the body fights cancer every single day. Most abnormal cells never become dangerous. Most are repaired. Most are destroyed. Most disappear without leaving any trace. Cancer begins on the rare day that one cell slips through. One cell that survives when it shouldn't. One cell that avoids every system designed to stop it. One cell that learns, somehow, how to hide. The tragedy of cancer isn't that it comes from outside. The tragedy is that the body cannot always tell the difference between itself and the thing trying to destroy it. Cancer is often described as uncontrolled growth, but that's not what makes it frightening. What makes cancer frightening is that it starts as something completely ordinary. One of your own cells, following the same rules as every other cell, until one day, it doesn't. And from that moment forward, one of the most complex systems in the known universe begins fighting a war against itself. And most of the time, the body wins, which makes every cancer that survives all the more remarkable.